sports performance apparel didn't exist before Under Armour. And that idea was born on field. It was something that, as a senior football player at the University of Maryland, I never liked the way that my cotton t-shirt fit beneath my equipment and wondered, why does no one make a better alternative to the cotton t-shirt? I took that fabric that fit the concept I had, which was lightweight, synthetic, stretchy, and that could wear snug to the body like a second skin, took it to a local tailor where I brought him a tight little White Hanes t-shirt and said, "Sir, can you make me as many t-shirts that look like this White Hanes t-shirt, but out of this fabric?" And very quickly I realized that this was an idea that was bigger than just one shirt for football players. The business began in 1996. We did $17,000 in revenues, or just under $17,000 in revenues that year. And I was a one-man show. Our phone number was 1-888-4ARMOR, and this is back when I was in Grandma's basement, living upstairs, sales office on the ground floor, keeping inventory in the basement. On the first pamphlet, for whatever reason, I wrote, "Call 24 hours a day." And so the one rule you had whenever you came to my house, and my buddies would come over or anything else, was if the phone rang, you had to answer Under Armour mail. I'd say there's one real turning point for our business, and that was at the end of 1999, heading into 2000, a movie called Any Given Sunday was coming out.
Any Given Sunday, a hero will rise.
Al Pacino, Jamie Foxx, Cameron Diaz, and we were very luckily selected to be really almost like a character in this movie.
Tradition will be broken.
He's changing the play.
And so I remember thinking, wow, we've got this unbelievable movie coming out right at holiday time, and people are going to see the logo and they're going to think, is it just some made-up logo from the movie? And I wanted to make sure that they knew that it was a real brand. And so the idea, or the bet, was we were going to run this half-page ad in ESPN, the magazine.
Any Given Sunday, life is a contact sport.
From that one ad, we spent $25,000, wrote the check up front. We ended up generating more than $750,000 in sales over the next 45 days. That propelled us from $5 million that year to $20 million in 2000. We did $725 million in 2008, and we're on pace to do north of $800 million in 2009. Our brand effectively defines the category, and we hold nearly an 80% market share today. We entered the athletic footwear space in 2006 with football cleats. We then came back in 2007 with baseball cleats, 2008 with training shoes, and then this past year we've launched running shoes. But we also know that without making athletes just better, we need to look cool. A great example of that is this is an image of what the United States bobsled team looked like prior to a relationship with Under Armour. Black uniforms, kind of wear tested, white USA down the left leg for these guys, and just frankly not that compelling. So what we want to do is take product that not only works great, but make sure that it looks great. So we took a uniform that looked like this and ended up dressing Steve Holcomb and ultimately the U.S. gold-winning four-man bobsled team, and we dressed them out like this. Taking a Captain America theme that ultimately had them on the front page, the front cover of Sports Illustrated. And let them look like this. But when you think about great product, of course, it has to perform great, right? It has to look great, and it also must have great quality to it. Focus, we talked about today was just in my office. I run my company much like a team, and sales and marketing is like offense, and manufacturing and distribution is like defense, and finance and IT are like the special teams. But what you find out is that all those pieces, the companies that win are the ones that communicate the best, and it's not one team's on the field at a time. We're all on the field at the same time. And so I think the ability, number one, to communicate, and number two, to focus. Too often, I get pulled all the time of, what you guys should make is you should make one of these or make one of those, and why don't you do anything for pets, and how could you go there? Great brands are like great stories, and every great story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And our job is to make sure that every chapter of our stories makes sense to the one in front of it, and makes sense to the one after it. Saying was actually attributed to the chairman of Sony several years ago, and it said that perfection is the enemy of innovation. Perfection is the enemy of innovation. And what that effectively means is that how many entrepreneurs are sitting out there with a great idea, tinkering in their garage right now, waiting to get this concept out there, waiting to get the idea out there, but it's not quite perfect yet. The criteria that we use at Under Armour whenever we look at a product or whenever we decide to do something is that it must be better than what's currently available on the market. It may not be the perfect vision of what we have, but sometimes you have to get in the game in order to make it improve. Don't ever settle. Don't ever let a product just be okay or just barely good enough. And for all the entrepreneurs in the room, you need to know is that these don't always have to begin with the large private equity. They don't always have to begin with large gobs of money. It begins with one entrepreneur and one idea, and again, their ability to communicate and their ability to build a great team. And the best advice I ever got from someone that said, hey kid, find out if your product can sell. And before the lawyers and the patents and those things, and it's important, there's a time to do that, but you're not going to win the battle of public opinion in a courtroom. Find out if your product can sell. And if it can sell, do it faster and do it better than anybody else. And if you do that, at some level, you'll always be okay. I don't own the patent for tight, stretchy t-shirts, but we've taken that first launch product and we've evolved one chapter at a time, beyond just a stretchy t-shirt into not tight fitting shirts, but into loose fitting shirts, into shorts, and then from men's into women's, and so on and so forth. We were always smart enough to be naive enough to not know what we could accomplish. We were smart enough to be naive enough to not know what we couldn't accomplish. And that idea is about why not us? Why not me? Why not you?